Okay, I should be live now. Hi there, Tara Aksam. Welcome. Let me get my stuff switched over. Give me a sec. Oh wait, why isn't my camera tracking? Give me a sec. I mean, have you seen some of the stuff people have put on there? To an extent, sure, there are some weird things people have done. Unfortunately, but yeah. Yeah, I know, I didn't switch the scene yet. No, my glasses just keep getting fogged up. I just got out of the shower. Technically, I clicked the thing to set the thing to start right after. I'm still like just drying off my hair and everything. But yeah, I've been busy with the dev build or whatever, the pre-release build for NTE. Yeah, there's all sorts of things that are a mess. Speaking of, you know, it's funny. Apparently, like you know how like you have countries like and stuff like that that are trying to put all this age verification crap or whatever, put it everywhere. The irony is the entire thing is apparently legally illegal because it's it breaks GDPR. It's just funny. Apparently. So I wonder how much longer until you know, the stuff in those countries actually get suits going through on that whole thing, because it is technically against GDPR. I'm talking about the one where you gotta verify your information or whatever. Oh boy. But yeah. Welcome guys, I've been busy with the NTE stuff. Oh yeah, I also got curious about something because I remember recently there was like by recently I mean it was like a week or 2 weeks ago, you had a Valve employee basically put a patch for like KDE on Linux. Anyways, like it's currently only implemented on CachyOS, but it's like it basically makes the VRAM usage more efficient. So like I was like messing around with it and just testing the thing on like my old RTX 3070 because that's an 8GB card, and even on the NVIDIA stuff it works, which is actually pretty crazy. Like it basically frees up upwards of 2GB of VRAM. Like I'm not even joking. It's like a massive boost for the lower VRAM cards. Like actually, honestly, like if you have if you're playing on PC and you have like 8GB or less of VRAM, you probably should switch to CachyOS. Specifically, one running the KDE desktop environment because of the recent fixes. I mean, it's pretty obvious why those fixes came in because you know, they're gonna apply for the Steam machine when that eventually comes out, because that also only has 8GB of VRAM. It basically just frees up VRAM space by moving certain things off of VRAM. Like, and it actually works. It's actually pretty neat. Especially the case if you're gonna want to play NTE on one of those things. Bruh. I need people for raid and final trial. I freaking just missed the things getting a group for that. God damn it. Oh, rip. I mean, I said it as a joke, but I thought it was a funny joke, just... Alright, but yeah. That said, though, CashOS, honestly, like, the VRAM thing there is actually pretty crazy. Like, it actually works. Right now we're at 4 out of 8. But yeah, I haven't like streamed the past 4 days just cause I've been basically scrambling to get stuff done and I'm still like working on editing a bunch of stuff as well. So yeah. But you know, there'll be some content coming out soon. Wait, I don't have any of the male ones, whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be like another shorter stream again. Just again, because I've been busy working on things. But yeah, like, messing around with CashOS, it's actually pretty crazy. Some of the optimizations you can have there. Like, actually. Oh, wait. That's not the greatest thing ever. Literally no one going benediction, what the fuck? But yeah, like, it has been a while. I've been busy with stuff off stream. But yeah, like I was saying earlier though, I guess we can go into it when we get to a different section later. But yeah, if you want to play NTE on a graphics card with 8 GB or less of VRAM, I highly recommend you go get CashOS installed. It makes a massive difference, even on NVIDIA. Like, going to CashOS. What's the new policy now? I haven't, like, paid attention to certain things. All I know is they're adding, like, more regional pricing options for selling member stuff or whatever. But that's it. Bruh. I see. I mean, getting rid of the AI stuff is nice. If that's really what they're doing. How do I freaking die? Bruh. Okay. No, I'm fine, so whatever. Okay. I mean, getting rid of those AI channels is a good thing. It'd be good to get rid of a lot of those AI slop channels. It would be. I'm all for their elimination. We don't need them. It'd be better if we didn't have them anymore. Alright. I don't know, man. Don't we all? It's caused too many problems. And they're only gonna get worse. Alright, at least I got all that done. Alright, raid and final trial are done. But yeah, like either way, today's stream's gonna be a bit of a short one. It's just getting all this stuff I need to get done quickly.
Initiating target elimination.
Next thing, Astral Hive. But yeah, things have just been so busy behind the scenes. Alright. Okay. AI, so like, that 7 out of 10 joke song. Was it? Oh, where's that thing? Uh, Alright, I need to get. What's there? What's the other thing I need there? Okay, it's Coreflame Depth says today's join up. Let me get that switched over. Just switching everything over. Oh, wait. Network, indoor zone. Alright, just gonna teleport out of there. Alright, all the important dailies are done. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do base brawl stuff again. Try to get my rank up. Because I do want another selector box. But yeah, hi, Kazuke. But yeah, I've been busy with like NTE stuff off stream because I do have access to a build that's currently under NDA. There's content that isn't even in the release thing in there as well, but I won't be showing that stuff. It's more so I'm just like getting content prepared for release, so then there's gonna be like a flood of videos on my YouTube channel on various things. But I did test the recent cache OS optimizations, They even work on NVIDIA with the VRAM optimization, which is pretty crazy. Like, it is actually kinda crazy. Alright, let's see. Mhm. Yeah, I'm gonna just do that join up. Is there anything else I need here? Alright, let's get this done. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was like testing stuff all over the place. And I basically found like the perfect optimizations for Linux if you're on thing. Okay. Let's go kill these guys. Alright. And then we get through here. I'm just gonna quickly rush through this stuff. And then eventually I'm gonna have to find time to do the ToF event stuff too. Maybe tomorrow I look into like doing the ToF event. The event stuff. Alright, let's just go get Nanyan killed. Alright, that part is done. On to the next thing I need. Okay. Oh yeah, what's the pre-download for NTE is like what, tomorrow? Is it the day after tomorrow? Right, like the pre-download for the thing. Cause then I'll have to like make a thing for that as well. Is there anything else I need here? Oh yeah, I should grab these. Do I need these? I'll grab that. Get my data repeaters. Sure, might as well get those. Yeah, let's see what I got. I'll do a 10 pull. Nothing. Okay. Right, got all of those. Did I even do my multiverse hunts yet? No, I have not. I'll have to get those done. Yeah. Well, either way, if you're, for NTE, if you have a graphics card with 8 gigabytes of VRAM or less, honestly, switch over to Linux. Doesn't matter if it's AMD or NVIDIA. The NVIDIA performance issue thing is kind of, like, mostly resolved now. Kind of, at least on CachyOS. With the CachyOS Proton builds, like the newer versions, it kind of fixes it. Because there were some Vulkan patches, but also there's just extra KD optimization that some Valve employee did, and it helps save up on VRAM like a lot. It helps a lot, like a crazy amount. Because that's going to be a very limiting for NTE. If you don't have enough, if you want to crank up the settings. Like, it fixes a lot, it optimizes a lot. A lot more than any game optimization can, because it's like... It's kind of beyond that, because it's still like... You're still running an operating system and those need resources. I just said regardless if you're using AMD or NVIDIA for your graphics card, like even on the 3070, the improvements there like work. It's like pretty significant. So like it's highly recommended if you I mean, it's also just for other games too. It's just so much more optimized than Windows. That like it is worth switching to Linux if you don't need to be using Windows. At least if you have lower VRAM amounts, it's actually a decent boost. Okay. Like, it makes enough of a difference that it is something to consider, at least. And the only downside is some anti-cheat games will not work. Mainly like League of Legends, Valorant, and Forknife. Because they block thing, but outside of that, it's like not an issue. Like you can play ToF on Linux, no problem. You can play NTE on Linux and stuff. That works. But yeah. Like, it just makes a pretty significant difference just because of the stuff there. Honestly, though, I'm really curious on how this stuff will work on the Steam machine when that inevitably releases. Though apparently there's been leaks or whatever, rumors that the Steam controller is gonna be releasing soon for like $100 or something. A bit pricey, but yeah. Okay, I won that one. Barely. And I didn't look at it from Spawn Wave, I looked at it from some other place that I heard about it. I don't exactly really watch Spawn Wave. I don't. I speak English here, we speak English. But hi there, Tomoe-kun. Welcome. There, Okay, let's see. What else is here? Yes. But yeah, we speak English here. I'm good. What do you mean gotcha server transfer? There's no server transfer yet. We don't have server transfer stuff yet. Oh, come on, like almost had that. Why is the freaking AI on my stuff like so stupid? It's always so dumb. But yeah, I don't know if or when they'll open up like server transfers to transfer to Warp or not. To transfer the gotcha accounts to Warp server or not. I don't know if or when those will happen. Here we go. But yeah, it's not possible yet. They just haven't enabled it. I don't know if or when though they'll let us for Warped. Yeah, we've been waiting on that for a while. On CN, they got the transfers really quick. Like, it was like a month or two after release. But, like, it's already Season 2 now on Global, but, like, we still don't have it. So, I don't know. I mean, there's no news, so... No clue. Oh yeah, that thing is still there. I should technically turn off that pop-up thingy from Stream Elements. I already met the quota I needed for that sponsor. For that bounty. Yeah, let me see if I can turn it off. There we go. But yeah, I found a way though to like improve optimization of things even further. Okay, anything else here? Okay, I should do a climb bygone a little bit then. Oh, I need to do multiverse hunt first. You know, I'll just go clear this real quick. Just gotta go clear this. Got that cleared. Mm-hmm. Alright, time to do the vault one. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, I do have Mia's kitchen. Alright, time to get this done. Alright, let's get on in. Maybe I need to use the food and drugs to beat this. For Volt. Anal Volt is the weakest version of Anal. Yeah, I need food and drugs. So close there. Only to use the food and the drugs. And then I should be able to clear it barely. Okay. I haven't stocked up on this stuff in like months. Because I've been too lazy to go look around and grab these. There's shots and stuff there. I'll just use the old Maroria Volt attack ones. Mm-hmm. Time to go kill Lauren. Yeah, making okay time. Alright, barely cleared that one. Barely cleared that one. Okay. I thought I disabled that thing. Yeah, I did. Okay. I'm gonna need to do the same thing for Fizz then. Where is Fizz? Okay, I still haven't done Evolution Frontier. I'll have to do that after too. Okay, let's get the other stuff here done though. Oh, we have an altered stage as well. So I'll have to do the altered stage as well after. Okay. Gotta kill around. Honestly, gonna have to retry this. If I didn't mess up the start, I probably could have killed that.
Taste the pain!
Yeah, he has iframes too. It's just Pam. But my fizz is also just extremely cold. It is annoying though how like Fizz is balanced around overpowered traits, so if you don't have the traits, you lose so much. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? If you don't have it's just so Papega. Thanks for the follow as well, Dot Hacker, Keyblade Master. Oh, welcome. Freaking iframes are annoying. Damn it, if it wasn't for those freaking iframes being at like the worst possible time and him just jumping away. Come on. There we go, he's beaten. Alright, we got through that one. Right, now the flame one. At least this one should be easier. There you go. That is what it is. But it's like super annoying. Without just like inconsistent the damage is because of that. Alright, let's get the next one done.
Taste the pain!
Bruh. I missed some of the bursa there. Which is so annoying. This freaking charge time thing is so annoying. Look, I missed another one. Because of the freaking charge time. If it wasn't for his iframes and missing like 4 or 5 of them, that would have died a lot faster. Because of the freaking iframes, man. Do I want Hydro Focus Wellspring? I forgot what I should be using on these. I feel like I want Torrential Force here. Yeah, Torrential Force Wellspring. Alright, let's go on the next one. Hydro Focus is so tiny, man. What, 6%? Bruh, is this thing? Yeah, because then I can have more consistent discharge spam. Because the problem is, like, you don't get weapon charge like this. I really get weapon charge. Yeah, but then I'm fucking dealing with Ocerana. You think I want to deal with that? I'm already dealing with this piece of shit. Wait, why isn't he? Wait, why isn't the execute working? What the fuck? Bro. Whatever, I just wanted to clear it. And it's also Rada, the thing's annoying. I don't want to, like, deal with it. Whatever. A clear is a clear. Wait, which one has weak point? Oh, this one. Alright, might as well put that on. Yes, Torrential Force is 30-second cooldown. If you discharge into Fiona, it clears it. That's the thing with Torrential Force. It's insta-cleared when you discharge into Fiona. The cooldown of Torrential Force. Or did you forget? It doesn't matter which slot. The cooldown is reset when you discharge on Fiona. It's always been that way. 30-second cooldown, but Torrential Force gets its cooldown reset every time you discharge on Fiona. No, not on Maelstrom. Only Torrential Force. It's in the skill description too. It's specifically just Torrential Force. It's always been that way. But yeah, go read it again if you didn't know. Well, either way, now you know. Yeah, no, this is not gonna clear. This shit is too tanky. And I still haven't finished like the first +5 of all the things for the SSS thing. So I'm missing a lot of stuff there too. Because I don't whale the module things every week. Yeah, not enough damage. Thing is too tanky. I can't do it without the weak point. Alright, let's get multiverse undone. Alright, let's get this stuff there done. Oh yeah, I forgot to put wake point back. I always pick Ray every week because it's so dodge. The category for Ray. Alright, I'll just let it run the timer out or kill me. So I can go do it another 3 more times. Alright, come on. Hey, Reptile. Yeah, I've been busy with stuff off stream. That's why. And I still got a bunch of work to do off stream as well, again. But yeah. So again, like today will be another shorter stream. Probably like 3 hours long or so. But yeah. Just been busy with like getting NTE content prepped up and done. So I haven't had time to like do a bunch of other things just cause, yeah, been busy. But yeah, that's just how things are. Alright, launch season, and I got content. I'm just trying to get prepped up and out the door. Okay. Then we got one more here. Alright, let's get this done. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Is there like anything interesting with the events to farm or nah? Like any like cosmetic shards or whatever from any of the events to farm? Or do I just wait for like whatever is the easiest thing to farm and just farm that? Because like I haven't looked at any of that stuff. Because quite literally have had no time to do it. Yeah, I'm just double checking all the shops for everything I might need. Alright, let me go get Evolution Frontier done. Alright, let's go get that done. Alright, and then we can move on to the next thing after. Alright, let's go get it done. No, I did not. I could have applied, but I didn't want to. I didn't bother. Like, I saw the rules and stuff like that on the creator server. I could have applied, but I didn't feel like doing it. I mean, I'm not exactly, you know, a fan of freaking Enfield's combat to begin with. And, like, there's not really a reason why I would want to do the thing. Besides, like, you don't get anything unless you win, too. And it's a gacha game and everything, and it's not like we're gonna get preset accounts either. So it's just like, eh. I don't want to bother. Right, like, again, it's just like how the things work in these games and all those other aspects. I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, but it's only if you win, man. If you don't win, it's not like you get anything. Like, it's great if you have all the stuff for it, but like, I don't, so that's his own other thing. I'll take my free pulls in from other stuff though. I'll take those. They're gonna give them to me later this month. I'm pretty sure I get like my my free pulls from last patch. The day NTE comes out, which is funny. Not like I'm gonna use them immediately, it just means I have the resources for next patch. Yeah, like that's the thing, right? And then whatever gets the lowest time gets it. There's a new one, but yeah, Maggie got that one, good for her, but yeah. I'm not exactly a big fan of the freaking combat at Enfield anyways. Yeah, like there's all that stuff, and again, like if you and then like all the prep work and everything, it's like I just don't want to do it, and I don't feel like practicing like endlessly again for that. That's me personally, especially when I'm doing other stuff too. That's why I didn't bother. I'm probably gonna try to like pump out a ton of stuff though for NTE as much as I can for various different things though, because they have similar incentives, but it's a lot more broader and everything. So a lot more things are applicable on streaming stuff counts too. I mean, there's other stuff there's other bonuses too that they're trying to do for pushing that could be good. So, at least I'm gonna try to take advantage of all I can there.
The highly anticipated.
Okay, well, I'll put that video later. I'm just checking something. Because we got like a Chinese dude did NTE benchmarks. Alright, got that cleared. Then I'm gonna go and do it again. Mm-hmm. Let's go and get this done. Mm-hmm. That's all I did there. Right, so we can exit out of that. But yeah, like there's still so many of these I still have left to fill. Because until I get everything to level 5, I cannot upgrade these to level 10. Which is kinda papaga. I'm like losing so much stats because of that. Because of how that works. Yeah, maybe I can get a +3 for thing and then I can do that one. Yeah, every single time, man. Every single time it's 2 these, all of these. You technically don't have to clear the sequential stages, but you need to run out the timer, which is annoying. You technically don't need to clear it, but you have to run out of time. Otherwise it doesn't count. If you start a sequential stage and leave, it doesn't count. If you have to run out of the time. If you die, it also doesn't count, which is so annoying too. You have to like specifically run out of time to fail. It counts to you. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I need there in ToF. So we can move on to the next thing. Alright, let's go and get Enfield done. Alright, let me get Enfield booted. But yeah. Yeah, it forces you to AFK, but not just AFK, you have to like AFK and not die as well. So like, you gotta go set up your cope benediction that won't die. That setup. Yep, there we go. There's our Enfield flashbang. Alright, there's the Enfield flashbang. That'd be hilarious if we get another hold attack. I see. Right, because CN has it out. let's see here. Yeah, I don't want to claim the thingy there then. Yeah, I'm not gonna do the exchange now. I'm gonna hoard. I gotta hoard all those. Because it's better to hoard. Okay, I got those things done earlier off stream, so that's good. Honestly, nobody's gonna do these, but like, I don't really need all the stock bills from that area anyways. But some stock bills is still better than no stock bills. So now I'm just like sending these for jobs that will not ever get completed. Because I still get like half of those stock bills if nobody does the thing. So I just transfer away. Am I still in ToF category? You sure? I'm pretty sure I changed it to Enfield. I'm pretty sure it shows Enfield on my OBS window. Pretty sure. Alright, let's get all these done then. Mm-hmm. There's another one there. Oh, the stockade thingy. Alright, let's go get these done. That's all the way over there, so I'm gonna need to get that done as well. Because I'm still farming for the thing to insert into Paralica's weapon. So we can go get that at the same time.
All variables within estimates. Together, people!
Alright, let them get nuked. Alright, what do I got? Nope. I need intellect, attack boost, Twilight, I think it was. Or no, intellect, arts boost. And that still didn't drop.
You can't escape gravity! Better watch where you step! Can we do it again? You can't escape gravity!
God damn it. Still didn't drop the thing I needed. That's gonna take forever to farm out. Alright, let's get this done. Alright, let's see. I need to get the water wheel. And then we need to go there for the water lamps. Alright, got all of those. There's still more to grab there. Yeah, then I'm like nearly out of stock bells again. Oh, I should buy those. And sell these. For a nice profit. The open the door. Wait, what? Genshin Reddit mod screaming open the door? Wait, I don't know that. No. I don't know of that. But okay. I did not know of that or what that is. But okay. He's a general meme, a generational meme now. Oh, he broke into. Oh fuck. Damn. Freaking Reddit mod broke into someone's house.
And prepped and ready to go. We once fought on and never gave up. For it is our wish to witness your return.
Alright, we gotta go to Dijon. We just take pictures here, I guess. At least they're easy. We're playing Enfield right now. Alright, there's the next one.
Conventions of socialization dictate.
Don't touch the pressure valve. I got something new for you.
What? Tong Tong wants to give us a gift.
Where's from? Just take it.
Alright, now we can talk to Perlica.
Greetings. Greetings.
Wait, was that it for the event? Literally just like snap 3 pictures. Was that all that event was? I know like they mailed us like a free Perlica copy the other day. Damn, it quite literally is just go take 3 pictures and you're done. Okay. Easy. Oh, now the event thing is gone. For that one. Yeah, there's just one more. Yeah, they gave it the other day. Okay. But yeah, after we're done this, I'm just gonna finish my Do It Need a Best weeklies. And then we end off, because I need to get back to working on more of the NTE stuff for the launch. The global launch. I've been busy with that stuff off stream.
We're here. Sorry to keep you waiting.
My heroes. I thought you'd be friends with Mr. Moore.
I mean, there's benefits to it, man. So I might as well try hard while I can. If I can get stuff out of it. Oh, that's all the way over there. Okay. So, like, yeah.
Can't you more thinking during this escapade? If I were to guess, I think it's his last chance to settle old scores.
And everything in Enfield is done again. Alright, quite literally all the content in Enfield is finished again. Which is good. I don't know why they had to like time gate that side quest across a couple of days instead of letting you do it all in one sitting. It's kind of dumb. But yeah. Alright, let's get this done. Only 2 viewers in ToF. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Alright, how about the What Night Up S? Is that category like completely dead? Because we're gonna switch over now. Yeah, it's Spikes or that or Mr. Cake or something. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, nothing else there. So we're good on that front. Because there's quite literally no other content left that isn't stamina gated to do. There quite literally is nothing left in Enfield to do. Until they add another event or the next patch or whatever. But it's nice to get all this stuff done, you know, sooner rather than later. So there's that. Alright, let's go switch to Do At Night Up S now. Alright, give me a moment to boot it up. Alright, let's get it booted up. And then I have to do that. Because I, for some reason, can't do it from the launcher, the patching. Don't know why. But it is what it is. Let me just enter my password. Mm-hmm.
They say it pays to ask for help. Good thing you asked me.
Well, that'll be a 100% clear time. Okay. Alright, let's get the music playing again. No, those guys are still on expedition. Yeah, I don't want to send anything else out on an expedition there. Okay. I don't need to forge anything. Right, but I need to do my bounties. So, get there. How dodges do I need a best right now anyways? Right, I wonder how dodge it is.
Reporting in. Standing by for your orders.
Very dodge.
The currents will silence you. Zap! Hup! Christian. Hey! Shatter!
Oh, it's this way. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Let the healing.
This is so painful to do on my own. Cause it's so slow.
Let the healing flow.
Let's get these done.
Let the healing flow. Hexagram on both. Fortune's edge.
Alright, and then we go get this thing done. Okay. Man, I wish I could just like ride on this thing and just AFK this. But nope. But then it just stops here. Yeah, 3 days. That I've been busy like getting content prepared for the launch. That's part of why I haven't streamed the... I hate this freaking game mode, man.
Once again.
This game mode's so shit, especially when you do it solo. It's even worse. Like, it takes forever to do them, man. And it's just, I hate doing these.
Fisher reporting in. Standing by for your orders.
Hey, what? The first match is starting already? Let me see. Our first task is to eliminate the star player of the Forex Shakens team.
This one also takes a long ass time, but this one's a little bit easier. Because I don't have to do the stupid escort thingy. I still hate this shit though, and you gotta do 3 of them a week.
We know where their star player is hiding. Let's go defeat. I mean, eliminate them.
Bro, this shit is just so annoying.
Let the healing flow. We know where their star player is hiding. Let's go defeat. I mean, eliminate them. The next round seems to be a territory battle. Let's hurry over!
Huh.
Let the healing flow. Feel better soon.
I can't stop here. I have to keep fighting.
Drive them out of the designated zone. Victory will surely belong to us. Chiefs the best.
Bro, this is just the fan, man. Especially with how dead the game is. It's just But like, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it is what it is. Gotta get these done.
It's on you.
And then I go to the next spawn to do a more of the same. Alright, I just go there.
Have to keep fighting. I can't stop here. I have to keep fighting.
Ugh, they're so stubborn. Guess it's time to get serious.
Let the healing flow.
Oh, this takes so goddamn long to do. Because the game is so edge.
Even though lost, there's still next round. We still have a chance.
I can't stop. Shatter!
Finally! The third match! Quick! To the prize chest! We can't let anyone else grab it! Snatch the keys back from these guys and unlock the final treasure chest!
Heretics! How dare you covet treasures bestowed by the gods! Ready to face divine wrath?
One lock open! Keep it up! We can get the rest too!
Bro, this part is just all RNG when the freaking keys come.
Devout followers, pluck the fruit of victory in its name!
Drive them out of the designated zone. Victory will surely belong to us. Chiefs the best.
The chest is open! Yay! We won!
Alright, that's cleared. Yeah, as pick it is to like keep doing this mode, at least I can actually solo this mode. So it's like I'm better off doing this versus not clearing at all.
Such a pity it ended so quickly. Take me on the next mission. You'll win and I'll stay occupied.
Bruh, that's a useless duplicate. I'll go and see if I can get the other one done again. If not, I'll go back in there and do it again. Or like, if not... I have Toothless Morals. I already have Morale maxed out. Not the Hydra one though. Yeah, I have these two already maxed out.
Weapons, supplies, power. Game 2 dead. I'll just say, game 2 dead for co-op showdown. I can't even like open the chat while in here, which is also annoying too. Oh god. They don't really have much of a moderation thingy there. Interesting. Oh, got into a match for something now though, at least. Because I chose to live on.
Well, I hope that other players get to do another one too. You can. Damn. I thought the game is just so dead that like everything's an oversight.
Feel better soon. Let the healing flow, like the moon waxing to its fullness.
Alright, then I'll do a Mystic Maze run after.
Resistance is sheer bone. In silence, all is revealed.
1989 is not censored. Well, it's not censored, so there's that. It is funny though how it's like a lot of these other things would censor that, but this one does not. 1989 is not censored. This shit's so annoying too, because it just like stops and then it goes and it stops. This mode is just... Escorting the thing just sucks. And then I'll go do one more.
Such a pity it ended so quickly. Take me on the next mission. You'll win and I'll stay occupied.
At least that one only took like 6 minutes to do at least.
Rhythm Fisher reporting in. Standing by to your orders.
Alright, now we go to the last one. Alright, let these get killed here.
Let the healing flow. Feel better soon. Like the moon waxing to its fullness.
What's the other player doing, man? He's like not doing shit. How is he still not caught up yet? Bruh. Whatever.
Feel better soon. Let the healing flow.
Come on. Alright, come on. But now it's super slow. Come on.
Like the moon waxing to its fullness.
Alright, at least I got that cleared.
Such a pity it ended so quickly. Take me on the next mission. You'll win.
Okay.
They say it pays to ask for help. Good thing you asked me.
Okay, I need 2 more morale ones there.
They say it pays to ask for help. Good thing you asked me.
And then Electro, I need Serenity, right?
Weapons, supplies, power levels, mission plans. Check completed for the 17th time. Standing by.
Okay, I need 2 more Serenity Electros for this thing.
Are you taking me out to play? Pinky promise, no backsies.
If I get 1 more uplift, I can get that fully done. Yeah. Paralumina and then Lynn.
They say
I
you can't ask
guess.
for help. Good thing you asked me.
The theater is so ass though. Immersive theater is so shit. And they made it even worse because they buffed enemy HP pools and everything sooner.
Taking aid from an enemy.
It's my honor.
Who's the target today?
Like, shit was already bad and they made it even worse. I don't know, man. Things have been super cup for Duet Abyss for a while. And I don't see that changing. Things have been so cope.
Type 3 deployed. Test commenced. Type 3.
I guess the silver lining is at least Su Yi will be on, will be a farmable soon. For your, you know, eventual just maxing her out for better farming a Mystic Maze. Because she's the best for Mystic Maze now.
Starbreaker mode engaged.
Ah, not you again. Have a nice day. Bye. Oh, I mucked it all.
It's not just very sanity efficient,
Just you wait.
because the big AoE and you don't have to like really do anything. They got that aspect there too.
Woohoo! This feels great. Hands in the air! This one looks tough. I'm out of here. Oh, I've mucked it all up! You'll get yours next time. Just you wait! Oh.
That's the attack speed is kind of bugged on her. Apparently. Because the devs are incompetent to ever scale properly. It doesn't actually work even though the animation is faster. Because spaghetti code. No, skill speed. Generic attack speed that buffs everything technically works, but it's not good because it just makes the animation faster. The damage doesn't get thing when you're swinging, so it's like super bored.
Data capture complete. I gotta jot this down.
In some cases, it can like be detrimental. I also don't understand why they didn't just make her a consonance weapon user. Like, it's so dumb they didn't make her like consonance weapon user. It would have like been pretty big if they did, because then you could use her with Fina and like the wedges that they made that for Illumino. Lumino has like all these overpowered wedges, but then like you can't really use them because of how stupid the stuff around it is.
Your money or your life. Gosh, how am I supposed to mug a walking arsenal? See ya. Oh, it mucked it all up. You'll get yours next time. Just you wait. Oh.
Good work. Finish it type 3. Starbreaker mode. Engage. Data capture complete. I gotta jot this down. Focus fire.
Alright, next one. Alright, we'll take the extra skill damage. I'll take those buffs. Yeah, I didn't get a good set of buffs this time around.
Woohoo! This is great. Focus fire.
And then I was just gonna like do the transform to quit.
hurt. Still got all my parts, right? Didn't even hurt. Huh. Sun Chaser mode, engage. Starbreaker mode, engage.
Alright, that's been cleared. Oh yeah, I still have to like clean out the stuff here. But it's just like, it's just a pain to keep doing this shit here. And Mystic Maze.
They say it pays to ask for help. Good thing you asked me.
Yeah, I need 2 more morales. Yeah, that resets in 2 weeks. When's this end? Oh, in just a week and a half. Of course. I couldn't clear past 45. But whatever, we're done here. Alright, I'll do one more react then before we end off. Because I can turn this into a video as well. Alright, so basically what, NTE already released in Cyan, and we got this guy here who already tested the PC and phone. So that'll be interesting to see. Though I highly doubt he tested Linux, but like, you know. I've been working on at least a little bit of Linux testing because I got the game working on Linux. I'll probably get a video out there around launch though and to do there, but like from what I've been messing around with, especially if you're using an NVIDIA card or any video card that's like with 8 GB or less of VRAM, you probably want to be using CachyOS. And more specifically, the the KDE desktop environment version, because of the recent patches and stuff. It helps a lot, at least compared to other distros, because I was testing as well on like PeakOS and Bazite. CachyOS performs the best for NTE on Linux. And you would just use DW Proton 25 as well. But yeah, let's see what he tested the wider variety of everything. Because kind of curious.
Urban open world gacha game, Zenless Zone Zero, has finally officially launched.
Wait, what? What the hell? What the hell is the freaking auto dubbing from YouTube doing? Do we have subtitles? Let me see. I don't know. Here, it's officially launched. Audio track. English US auto dub. I don't think so.
This time, we received an invitation from HoYoverse to play the game's creator.
What the fuck is this? That is not HoYoverse, that is Hana Studio. What the fuck is YouTube's auto dubbing doing? What the fuck?
Preview build in advance.
Yeah, I've been messing
After
up with
playing
that
for over a
same
week,
build too.
I think this might be the most fun, or rather, the most lively gacha game I've ever played. In this supernatural-themed open-world city, there's not only the traditional gacha combat with character switching and parrying, but also property management, shop operation, street racing, police chases, prison breaks, fishing, mahjong, and even forming a girl band, among various other rich gameplay modes.
Yep. They got that.
The sheer amount of progression elements and heavy RPG attributes, combined with incredibly rich and exquisite map designs, including tributes to various games and
AI
anime,
dub
very
voices
cute
pan.
character designs, and performances centered around the characters, such as rich facial
But yeah, this thing has
expressions,
benchmarks,
comic-style
so...
elements, creative boss designs, and most importantly, a lighthearted and non-pretentious story, all make this game world full of vitality. This pleasant atmosphere makes it very easy to get addicted and binge play for days. I highly recommend everyone give it a try. It really is quite fun. However, since we are a tech channel, our main focus will definitely be on testing Zenless Zone Zero's performance requirements and discussing the graphics technology it uses. For its grand launch, Zenless Zone Zero arrived on PC, PS5, Android, and even Mac and Harmony OS platforms simultaneously. Honestly, I've never seen a gacha game manage such comprehensive cross-platform support. It's quite a massive production. So today, we'll test both the mobile and desktop versions to see what kind of hardware you need to run Zenless Zone Zero. We have already mentioned the richness of the gameplay and the variety of platforms it has launched on. If I had to summarize Zenless Zone Zero in one word, it would truly be rich. You can feel the developers' ambition is genuinely huge. They want to include everything in the game, and you can feel that same all-in impact on the technical side as well. In such a massive open-world map as New Eridu, there are actually many clever design details hidden within the streets and buildings. Project Ring is a game that was greenlit in 2023, so it has only been in development for 3 years. Building such a massive map efficiently is definitely a daunting challenge. To address this, the development team created a specialized city editing tool to reduce the trial and error costs of development, turning what was once a massive amount of manual placement into procedural generation. Designers simply need to draw a line to automatically generate an entire road, along with roadside objects, grid structures, and even parking spaces, all planned out simultaneously. The same applies to buildings and vegetation. By inputting dimensions or drawing a line,
it's Alien Ring,
you can
it
generate
should
building
be.
shells with randomized details. That area can then automatically sprout plant colonies, with the tool arranging them based on composition rules, such as density variations and size pairings, to avoid uniform patterns and ensure the results look more natural. After using these tools to quickly lay out the city's foundation, assets are handcrafted and placed to add life, ultimately building a vibrant, coastal metropolis. This workflow significantly reduces trial and error costs and improves efficiency, allowing production resources to be focused on more critical areas like character design, scene detailing, and lighting. But as an open-world game, how should the crowd and traffic systems be designed? That is a discipline in itself. Project Ring approaches this using UI's mass framework, decoupling behavior, movement, and presentation. It uses multi-threading to handle large numbers of characters and vehicles simultaneously, dynamically switching precision based on distance to the player, full AI and physics up close, and simplified models in the distance to ensure performance. The vehicles themselves are customized based on the UE physics system, with fine-tuned parameters for suspension, acceleration, steering, and shifting, ensuring that different cars have distinct handling characteristics. Damage is also calculated in real time. Components like tires, doors, and glass are independent parts that can be damaged or detached, rather than simply swapping in a damaged model. A single car contains over a dozen components, each with its own individual physics simulation, making driving one of the most performance-intensive scenarios in the game. For optimization in the open world, only the car you are driving on the PC version runs at the highest level of physics simulation. However, if you enter a race, your opponents will also feature high-precision simulation, at least on the PC version. So, if you plan to race in Project Ring, you'd better have a powerful CPU. Project Muggin also features a fully dynamic, real-time weather system. Sunlight, moonlight, and starlight all change with time. You'll see morning mist, realistic reflections in puddles on rainy days, and snow
The
gradually
freaking
cover
auto
rooftops
dub is
and
so
roads.
bad.
Different weather conditions transition seamlessly. From clear skies to heavy rain or snowstorms, it's a continuous cycle. The clouds also change shape accordingly, like high-altitude clouds on a sunny day versus thunderclouds before a storm,
Yeah,
providing
because I'm
completely
gonna
different
mug you.
atmospheric effects. Furthermore, a vast
That's
number
why I
of
said
buildings and
that.
shops in the game can be entered seamlessly without any loading screens. In fact, all of this shows that Project Muggin truly aims to build a world that functions like reality, adhering as closely as possible to the laws of physics. It's quite ambitious, but where else does this have it all approach manifest? It lies in the pursuit of various graphical technologies. As an open-world masterpiece built on the cutting-edge Unreal Engine 5.6, Project Muggin is incredibly advanced in terms of graphics.
Yeah, you got a
For
little bit, yeah.
instance, in global illumination, it supports not only Unreal's proprietary Lumen technology but also full-scene ray tracing and ray reconstruction denoising. For upscaling, it supports NVIDIA's DLSS 3.5 frame generation and super resolution, alongside alternatives like TSR and FSR 3.
Maybe
On
4.5,
mobile,
not
Project
3.5.
Muggin even supports Qualcomm's SGSR and Adreno frame motion engine, MediaTek's FRC frame interpolation, and Apple's Metal FX, with Huawei's super resolution to be added in the future. It's pretty much supporting everyone. Maybe only FSR 4 is missing. It's the most tech-forward anime-style game I've ever seen. Visually, you can feel the game is packed with tech and tricks. In terms of graphics, you could say it's the flip side of restraint. It tries its best to use realistic rendering to express anime elements, while balancing anime characters and effects with PBR-style realistic textures is difficult, and poor execution can lead to a sense of dissonance. The benefit of this realistic approach is a very high visual ceiling. Especially with ray tracing enabled, the visual impact is truly substantial. You really feel, wow, this lighting and water. This is a true AAA anime-style title. So, the question is, are the performance requirements for Project Muggin high? What kind of hardware do you need to run it? Let's start by taking a look at the PC version of Ring. First, let's look at the CPU. CPU frame rates basically don't change with resolution. No matter what screen you use, your performance ceiling can basically be referenced by our driving CPU frame rate tests here. Ring is locked to a 120 FPS cap on PC, and currently only raw strength can break through that. If you want to hit 120 FPS without the CPU becoming a bottleneck, you'll need at least a Ryzen 7000 series from AMD, or a high-clock 12th, 13th, or 14th gen core processor from Intel. Older CPUs with architectures like Zen 2 or Skylake will even drop below 60 FPS quite frequently in high-stress driving scenes. These CPU requirements are truly no joke, especially for an open-world game with such heavy vehicle physics simulations. Memory performance also has a significant impact. Our tests on the 12400...
I mean, for the heavy driving scenes, apparently Broadwell E, if you got a decent one, can handle it. You'll see when I eventually get my Linux testing thing out, but I found a way to make it pretty consistent on like the random ass x99 based system I was messing around with on my Linux box. That one was like using what, a 1287 of WV4. Alright, so it's like more than 10 years old. That old server CPU. Like, it's technically a lot slower. It's supposed to be a lot slower than like everything on this chart. Yeah. But I think it's part of it is just Windows overhead is just really bad. And then if you're on the older AMD CPUs, especially because you're using more than 4 cores. Unfortunately, there's like a penalty, a latency penalty when you go past that and have to go between multiple CCDs, not CCDs, CCXs on the AMD CPUs. That was eventually fixed, or rather raised up to 8 with the Ryzen 5000, but like Ryzen 1000, 2000, 3000, and the 4000 APUs, which is those ones, they have that issue. Yeah, it wasn't until Zen 3, Zen 3 core slightly modified that part. That's part of why there was like a big IPC jump. And then Zen 4, because of the platform upgrade and everything, even bigger than that.
Joke, especially
yeah.
for an open world game with such heavy vehicle physics simulations. Memory performance also has a significant impact. Our tests on the 12400F show a large gap in frame rates between slow memory with poor timings and fast, high-quality memory. 16 gigabytes of RAM actually tested as sufficient for Ring, so it doesn't
you don't
strictly
really
require
need much more than
24
that.
gigabytes.
The thing is, though, again, like, this is, again, part of Windows being inefficient there. This goes under, like, around 11 gigabytes of memory usage or so, like, slightly less on Linux than when you're using Windows. But then again, like, Windows is just so bloated.
Which is good news given current memory prices. Next, let's talk about the graphics card.
Alright, GPU.
As a game supporting full path tracing, Ring sets a high visual ceiling while also pushing ray tracing performance requirements to new heights. The developers have mandated that only NVIDIA cards with at least 16 gigabytes of VRAM can enable path tracing, meaning at least an RTX 5070 or 4080 is required. For laptops, it's an RTX 5080 minimum, and AMD cards aren't supported at all. This really is a premium visual experience for the few.
Makes
But
sense.
after I plugged in a 5090 and ran the game, I finally understood why they set such a strict requirement. Without DLSS, a 5090 only manages around 70 FPS at 108op with full path tracing, and barely over 30 FPS at 4K.
Yeah, that sounds
The visuals
about
are
right.
impressive, but the performance cost is truly terrifying. In reality, if you want to play through Ring, you must accept using upscaling technologies like DLSS or TSR as the norm. This game really cannot run on PC without upscaling. So for this graphics card test, we ran all
you should be
RTX
more than
NVIDIA
fine
cards with
anyways.
DLSS set to balanced, while for
That
AMD
is a
and
big
Intel
upgrade.
cards, we used TSR, as FSR in this game is limited to quality mode, likely.
It's not even just that. FSR looks like shit, honestly. From my testing, especially because I've been messing around on the Steam Deck, you're better off just using TSR on the AMD stuff than FSR. It not only looks worse, but also in the case of the Steam Deck, FSR quality even runs worse than TSR somehow. I don't know why. But yeah.
Because the developers felt lower FSR settings weren't visually acceptable. Since TSR's image quality still falls far behind DLSS, I suggest not directly comparing the frame rates between NVIDIA and AMD
Yeah, you
cards.
can't really
This should only serve
directly
as
compare.
a reference for the performance you can expect.
Fake frames are ass, but like the upscaling thing makes a big difference though. But yeah. The game doesn't support FSR 4, so it doesn't matter. I also tried modding in FSR 4 with OptiScaler on Linux. It also doesn't work. The game will just like block it. If you try to enable it, it'll block it. It's probably because the anti-cheat or something. It just like detects something's different and then it's like nope. So like you can't even use OptiScaler on Linux to like force it to use FSR 4 int 8. I was gonna I tried to mess around with it. I spent like I think like 3 or 4 hours trying to get it working on this build. It didn't work. But yeah. Like the reality is like ideally you basically want to use an NVIDIA card to play this game. If you're playing on the PC version, it's going to have a better experience overall.
From each tier of cards. With the help of DLSS balanced, the 5090 can finally squeeze out an average of 60 FPS in full path tracing. Honestly,
That's actually
the
pretty
load is still
impressive.
ridiculously high, but at least it runs smoothly.
I mean, that's a lot more playable than something like Cyberpunk with those settings as well. Which again, like, considering it's like full path tracing and everything, that's impressive. This is what they have with like full path tracing. This DLSS balanced. Honestly, like, you would realistically lower it down to performance, so then you get some gains there, but yeah.
The 5080 and 50 series barely
Yeah,
hit
it's
45
understandable.
and 38 FPS. To play with ray tracing enabled smoothly, you really need performance DLSS plus frame general, but when
Yeah,
you're
no
driving
frame
through a
gen.
puddle on a rainy day and see the whole screen bling with ray traced reflections, you might feel like the money you spent on the graphics card wasn't wasted after all.
Honestly, what they should do is just like, in the DLSS settings, ideally it'd be nice if they added like a custom mode. They should add like ultra performance as a preset, and then add like custom mode where you get a slider between ultra performance, which is 33%, and DLAA at 100%. Because honestly, like, for some of these, performance might not be enough with all of these settings there, but if you could go like 40% scale, it probably is enough to go past 60 with all of that, using those settings. It'd be nice if they did that. Not yet. We'll get into that.
Right?
But yeah, like, I hope in the future or something they add at least ultra performance as a preset, because honestly, it would help a lot of things like run the game for DLSS, at least on that one. If they could select ultra performance, it could help a lot. Even if it means upscaling from 720p, if you want to like turn on all the ray tracing stuff, it would still help a lot.
Let's use a setting that's a bit more manageable. Turn off full path tracing and switch back to 4K Ultra without ray tracing. In fact, the game looks excellent.
I mean, you still
even
use
without
lumen ray tracing.
ray tracing enabled. Under this load, the 5090 can basically hit a solid 120 FPS, and the 5070 can hit a solid 60 FPS. The
Yeah, this is about right. I've actually, in my build, I actually noticed a little bit higher than that, on this thing. The AMD card is, like, not comparable at all. It looks drastically different. You cannot compare the AMD card frame rates here. Like, it's not the same comparison. Again, because the FSR 3.0 looks like, it just looks like crap in comparison as well. Yeah, just, here's the thing though, you're probably gonna want to use TSR instead of FSR though, but yeah. I don't know about hitting 100. This is with Lumen though. Right, like this is with Lumen. But you might not hit that high. Yeah, like this is at 4K though. I mean, if you're like 1080p, 1440p probably. Not
requirements are
4K
still
though.
high, but at least it's playable. As for the 50 series with 8GB of VRAM, don't even think about it.
I mean, honestly, like, here's the thing. The problem here is it doesn't support DLSS Ultra Performance. If the game supported DLSS Ultra Performance, and then you played it on Linux, not Windows, Linux, this would be over 60. Cause like I was doing some trickery and messing around on, again, this other machine. I'll show when I get my Linux video out. But I was testing the same build. The specs of that machine is it has 24 gigs of RAM, DDR4 1866. So it's like slow DDR4, like very slow one. It is server memory because it is in quad channel. It is on an older X99 board, right? A Xeon E5 1287WV4, so it's a 12-core, 24-thread CPU. Broadwell, it's like 3 GHz base. It boosts to 3.2. But yeah, it only gets like around 40% CPU load though, I noticed. But yeah. But like on my 3070, I was able to make the 8GB of VRAM like manageable. I had to do some trickery to make it so like DLSS let me go below performance and like run it at DLSS Ultra Performance, which is around 720p upscale, instead of performance is 1080p upscale at 4K, but I was able to hit over 60 FPS average on a 3070, which also only has 8GB of VRAM. But that's only possible because of the recent updates and patches with KDE. But you will need to be using CachyOS for now to get that. Because what happens is, part of the problem and why VRAM is kind of an issue with like at the lower side is because everything is loaded still, like all the stuff in the background is loaded onto VRAM on top of the game. And that's including things like your desktop environment and all that other stuff. But like, this was like pretty interesting and pretty cool that like recently, like by recently I mean like just under 2 weeks ago, a Valve employee basically was working on patches and stuff like that. And they basically patched something into KDE that let it move all of its stuff from VRAM into system memory instead, while loaded on your graphics card, which basically frees up almost 2 gigabytes of VRAM. Some cases, if you're running a multi-monitor setup, it's probably even more than that. But like, it's a lot of VRAM savings under load, and it's just enough that like, you could run with DLSS ultra performance at 4K on 8 gigabytes of VRAM with everything cranked up and Lumen turned on and still be around 60, a bit over 60 FPS. The issue is though, like, you gotta like use a workaround to get back some of your VRAM. Unfortunately, only on Linux. On Windows, you're stuck basically wasting 2+ gigabytes of VRAM to just have your Windows desktop and all that other stuff in the background. And on other Linux distros, those weird modification patches stuff don't exist. The reason why it's specifically on CachyOS and using the KDE desktop environment is because, well, SteamOS is based off of Arch. CachyOS is also like basically getting all the stuff that's getting put into SteamOS early before Valve pushes it out to like the beta builds of SteamOS. Again, because that's also based off of Arch. The other thing too is the Steam Deck, the Steam Machine, and that stuff uses KDE as its desktop environment. But yeah, like, my recommendation, if you have an 8 gigabyte of VRAM graphics card or less, ideally, you're going to want to be playing on Linux. I'll make a guide on how to get the game working on Linux, and I'll get that out on release. But yeah, the other thing you need to note is, ideally, CachyOS is what you would use. Make sure you have, Proton Plus installed from your package manager so you can get DW Proton. Alright, just use the latest version. And then, yeah, things should work pretty nicely. But yeah, like, if they just, like, enabled, like, or gave the option for ultra performance, it could handle it. Honestly. It's just not on Windows.
You'll definitely run out of memory. By the way, as we mentioned earlier, the game supports NVIDIA's DLSS Frame General. We tested it on a 5070, and with 4x Frame General enabled, it can hit over 200 FPS.
Yeah,
at 4K.
that's 5070
I
Ti,
feel like for a non-competitive game like this, Frame Gen is actually somewhat useful. If you're running at 2K resolution on ultra settings,
yeah, it's 1440p.
You basically need a 5060 class card to achieve a balanced frame rate with DLSS, and a 5080 to truly hit a steady.
Yeah, balance DLSS, yep. Makes sense. This is on Windows. You can you can go a bit lower than that if you're on Linux, but yeah.
120 FPS at
Again, this is no frame gen.
2K. The 2K load is among the highest in this game, but while the ceiling is high, the barrier to entry can be lowered. Just drop the settings if you can't run it. After dropping 2K settings to smooth, and still using DLSS balanced, the pressure lightens up significantly. Now even the 4060 can hit 120 FPS, and the 3060 can reach 90 FPS. In reality, even at the smooth preset, which is the lowest setting, Wuthering Waves doesn't lose out to other open world games.
You mean NTE? Yeah, I got the comparison here. This is... Alright, this is the, original, which is the highest, and then over here is the, smooth one, which is the lowest. I mean, there's a difference here, but it's not as drastic
games on
as
the
you
market.
think. Like, most people probably wouldn't even notice unless you have them side by side. Like, I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't be able to tell unless you put them side by side, the difference. Yeah, 1440p sweet spot. Yeah, use that with TSR. It should be good. Honestly, though, like, again, driver support, honestly, Linux better drivers than Windows these days on AMD hardware. Like, that's not gonna change, but
drop
yeah.
in visual quality. So, for those who can't run it well, don't be too anxious. Just treat the smooth preset as your maximum graphics setting. After all, to mobile gamers, this smooth setting is practically indistinguishable from having ray tracing enabled, right? At the 2K smooth preset, cards like the 6750 GRE and B580 can also achieve 120 FPS. We also tested two high-end integrated graphics. The 890M at this 2K balanced upscaling, smooth setting reaches a level roughly exceeding a 3060 gaming laptop, while the 7840H can hit over 60 FPS with only a
Yeah, this thing is kind of impressive there too. Like the B390 integrated graphics is actually pretty crazy. Yeah, again, like the AMD thing, honestly, they should be on Linux for AMD. You get more performance there.
around 20 watts of GPU power consumption. We even tested ancient veterans like the 1060 and 580, which can approach 50 FPS at 2K. If you want these veterans to be playable from start to finish, you'll need to consider lowering the resolution by one notch. Inviting the old and weak integrated graphics group to challenge the 1080p balanced TSR Plus performance preset. Not only can the 1060 and 580 run it, but even the 1050T can hit 50 FPS.
Yeah.
Stronger integrated graphics go without saying. The 8845H can hit over 100 FPS, while other slightly weaker ones can hover around 60 FPS to stay fluid.
Yeah, no, if you're gonna be doing these on integrated graphics, honestly, probably go on Linux too at this point for the AMD drivers at least. AMD has better integrated graphics drivers on Linux because AMD is too lazy and doesn't bother updating their integrated graphics. Yeah, like this is not great on this end, but like it's better on Linux. At least for the AMD ones here, the AMD integrated graphics, you could technically just install SteamOS. You don't have to go through getting CachyOS on there. Or some other Linux distro. You could technically just get the recovery image and it should just work out of the box.
Fluid,
yeah.
Including the legendary Rebrand King 780M, which can still manage 50 FPS at these settings. Next, we also tested the Mac version of Wuthering Waves. There aren't many open world games that launch natively on Mac. This time, Wuthering Waves not only achieved a day one Mac release, but our test showed the optimization is actually quite good. This version gives us a rather strange feeling. On one hand, it's locked to a 60 FPS cap, so even a powerhouse like the M3 Max MacBook Pro can't break through it. And the Metal FX upscaling settings are predetermined by the dev team and cannot be modified. On the other hand, the Mac version supports ray tracing, which, although not the path tracing available to NVIDIA cards, is a feature that even AMD and Intel cards haven't received yet. It's truly magical. Regarding performance, because of these reasons, it's hard to compare it directly to the PC version, so we'll just show you what graphics settings these Macs can use to achieve a fluid 60 FPS. The top spec.
Yeah, rip the Neo. Yeah, this makes about as much sense as I thought here. Look at the thing is running on the Neo, 30 FPS there.
M5 Max can even run smoothly with ray tracing enabled at such high resolutions. The M5 Pro runs fine at high resolutions as long as you keep ray tracing off, and it won't have memory issues like the 60 series. As for M5 and M4 machines, lowering the resolution and using low graphics settings works without any problems. Even the MacBook Air with an A18 Pro and 8GB of RAM can run Ring normally on the lowest settings, based on our testing. With the intervention of the swap mechanism, it's certainly not perfectly silky, but the frame rate and visuals are actually quite acceptable, and it hasn't crashed once. I find it pretty incredible. The Mac version's optimization is solid. Moving on, our mobile players have been waiting a long time, so let's take a look at how it performs on mobile devices. In reality, there is a noticeable gap between the graphics of Ring on mobile and on PC. It feels like the development team really had to make quite a few compromises to bring this game to mobile platforms.
If anything.
We recorded some footage here. Even on the lowest PC settings, the graphics are still better than the max settings on mobile.
Yep.
This is likely the game I've played with the biggest gap between PC and mobile. So, if you're able, I really recommend that everyone plays on PC if possible. On mobile, there are also subtle differences between platforms. For example, in some office buildings, the Android version shows some rough interior detail through the glass curtain walls, whereas on Harmony OS and iOS, they've simply covered it up with a set of blinds. The Harmony OS version also seems a bit different in some rendering distances, missing the lowest precision setting, so distant low poly models are rendered with higher detail. Although the impact of these on performance might be minor, it's still necessary to clarify this for everyone beforehand. Regarding
Okay.
resolution settings, both Android and Harmony OS phones currently use 720p as the baseline. For most Android models, setting the precision to high corresponds to 720p, while low can drop down to 576p. However, for a few specific high-end chips like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, Gen 4, and Dimensity 9500, the developers have unlocked higher resolutions, where high corresponds to 792p. In that case, medium is actually 720p, so you can't just compare high to high directly. Ring allows for higher resolutions on tablets than it does on mobile phones.
Okay.
High-end Android tablets can reach up to 1080p, which I think is actually quite well handled in this game. For some reason, the game version on Huawei doesn't offer rendering precision options. If it can't run smoothly, you have to lower the graphics, so the resolution is locked at 720p. The iOS version is even more complex, as each iPhone has a custom resolution tailored specifically to
makes
its
sense.
performance and screen size. The top-tier iPhone 17 Pro Max can even reach a resolution of 880p, truly the pinnacle for phones. However, let's start by lowering them all to around 720p for a proper comparison. The test route involves driving around the city in the rain, which is a CPU-intensive scenario in the game, and the load seems quite high. With more relaxed thermal and scheduling limits on the iPhone, only the latest iPhone 17 Pro Max can truly achieve a nearly full-speed experience at 720p. Earlier generations like the A17 Pro and A18 Pro mostly run at around 50 FPS, while the A16 generation lags significantly behind.
Notice how the
struggling to
resolutions
hit
are
just
the
over
same
30
across the board
FPS.
as well.
The A17 Pro generation should be considered a turning point for Apple's chip architecture and graphics features. Although we didn't see a clear efficiency gap at launch, the improvements are slowly becoming apparent in these new games. As for the Qualcomm platform, achieving a full 720p experience requires a device with well-optimized Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 or 8 Gen 3 chips. Basically, 720p at full settings consumes about 6.5 watts of total system power. If you're running 720p on a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 or older platforms, even on a relatively well-optimized A3 Pro, you're only hitting around 50 FPS. Most non-gaming phones with 8 Plus Gen 1, 8 Gen 2, or 8 Gen 3 chips generally run at 30 to 40 plus FPS, which is playable, but to get consistent smoothness throughout, you'll need to lower the resolution further. Among MediaTek devices, the only one that comes close to full speed is the Dimensity 9500 platform. Looking at the power consumption, its efficiency is actually quite good. It's basically approaching the performance of the A19 Pro on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It seems that for an Unreal Engine game, the Android optimization for Wuthering Waves is no worse than the iOS version,
NTE,
which is quite rare. Both the 9300 and 9400 are just a hair away from full performance, but the 9300, as a 3-year-old platform, is still highly competitive. Even an entry-level Redmi 9300 outperforms many highly tuned 8 Gen 3 devices. It really is the peak of MediaTek's engineering. Xiaomi's own tuning also performs quite well. Power draw is a bit higher, but it can also reach near full frame rates. We also tested Huawei devices, and it seems that 720p at max settings is still quite a heavy load for current Huawei phones. The Mate 80 Pro Max can briefly maintain over 50 FPS, but power consumption spikes to over 9 watts. Unfortunately, once the device heats up, the scheduler locks the GPU frequency to around 300 MHz, causing a significant drop in frame rate. We rarely see GPU bottlenecks on mobile, so perhaps Harmony OS hasn't had to handle such GPU-intensive games before. The frequency throttling is quite aggressive. It feels like the tuning strategy needs more optimization. Currently, the Mate 80 Pro Max's efficiency is basically on par with 8 Gen 2 devices, so it's playable if you lower the graphics settings. I think the fact that Wuthering Waves even has a native Harmony OS version is already a huge surprise. Beyond 720p, we also lowered the resolution and quality to test the performance of 576p, preset for lower-end devices. On Android, with an old Snapdragon 855 device, once you dial down the graphics, it's actually playable. Hitting 30 plus FPS for daily tasks is fine. Anything lower than the 855, I don't think offers much of a gaming experience. But looking at the 4 generations of chips from the 855 to the 881, the performance seems roughly the same. This is that infamous period of Qualcomm's downward progress that everyone is familiar with. Regardless, old devices are basically at a level where they're only playable on low settings. Actually, this is still better than the situation on Apple's side. Aside from the one true god, A15, which is very smooth at low resolutions, iPhones older than the A14 seem to be bottlenecked by their 4 GB of RAM, making crashes very frequent. Even if you can get into the game and the frame rate isn't bad, the constant crashing is a pretty terrible experience. In fact, the minimum iOS requirement listed for Wuthering Waves is the A15. Theoretically, older iPhones aren't even supported, so if you're an old iPhone user wanting to play, you'll need to consider an upgrade. As for image quality, we feel Wuthering Waves is a game with a massive gap between its performance ceiling and floor. High settings are visually stunning, while low settings are acceptable. If you don't have a high-end setup, you can comfortably stick to medium or low graphics. The results are still decent, and the experience isn't worse than other gacha games. But if you have a top-tier setup, no one is stopping you from enabling full ray tracing, right? The performance demands are explosive, but you really do get top-tier, mind-blowing visuals. Considering this is an Unreal Engine 5 open-world game and the devs want to stuff everything into it, well, I feel they've already burned out. More optimization will have to wait for later updates. We spent time today really looking at the performance and graphical tech of Wuthering Waves. From my own experience with the dev team, they truly have an all-in mentality. They've been pushed to their limits, determined to create an incredible open world where they can't compromise on many fronts. That's why many shortcuts and optimization tricks used in other games don't necessarily work in a project as massive as this. This was always destined to be a difficult game to optimize, so I'm quite impressed that the team managed to get it to this level in just 3 years. Luckily, as I said at the beginning, Once Human is a really fun game, so regardless of whether your current setup can run it or not, I suggest you give it a try first. You can decide whether or not to upgrade your hardware later. At the very least, I have no regrets about the time I've put into Once Human. Alright, that wraps up this performance analysis of Once Human. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, save, share, and follow our channel, PC-wide. So, we will see you in the next one.
But yeah, it's so scuffed, that auto dub. But yeah, there you go. Honestly though, like, Linux testing, like, needs to, like, really be pushed more because, yeah, performance on Linux is a lot better than it is on Windows on lower end hardware. Like, if you can, honestly, like, again, if you're using older lower end hardware anyways, you really should just switch your PC to Linux. You really should. In a few days, it's like, what, 3 days now? In like 3 days. But yeah, you really should just like switch to Linux though. If you're really trying to play, especially like with just newer games and stuff like that these days. Like, you really should. The performance difference is pretty, significant. At least, from what I've tested and messed around with. But yeah, like, you should. Alright, like, if you can, you should switch to Linux. Oh, but yeah. That said, though, I think we'll end it off here for now. Alright. Because, like, yeah, as usual, though, guys, thank you all for stopping by. Hopefully, I see you guys again next time. Like, this is, again, a shorter stream, because, I need to get back to working on more stuff, because I'm going to be cranking out a ton of videos when the game actually launches, and the embargo date is up. But until then, yeah, that's part of why I've just not been streaming the past couple of days. Because, I've been too busy to do streaming. But yeah, as usual, again, you know, thank you guys all for stopping by. Hopefully I can see you guys again next time. Alright, you guys have a good day or night or whatever, and I'm just gonna go get some sleep, and then I gotta get back to working on more stuff after. Alright then, see you guys. See ya.